All right, we are live and back. Today is Monday, and Mike is pulling up his charts. We're looking at a trade right now, but it is for April 27th, 2026. And remember, what we're doing here is this is not financial advice, not making recommendations. We are simply sharing our journey of going from $250 up to $1 million in Forex as we learn Forex. So, Mike, take it away. You already pulled up the chart, man.
Yep. So went in this morning. Just a quick refresher. So we always start here, just really quick on the Euro news. It's negative. German consumer climate forecast was 30.2. It's negative 33.3. Okay. So again, yellow folder, not earth shattering, but just being aware of it. Went over to FinViz. Just a quick look. I've already looked at all this. Again, nothing that's going to dramatically change my opinion right here on much. If we go back to this right here. All right. So what we have is a demand zone way down here. We have this supply zone up top, and we have Einstein that called. Actually, Don, by the way, check your Einstein. There was another update.
Okay.
So just click that purple circle if it's there, off to the right of Einstein scanner. So the down, yeah. So right here, it called it. This is somewhere in that 9 a.m. time frame. It called the sell off the 4-hour. As you can see, this candle right here hit the back wall, which is an ideal sell. I mean, an ideal sell right here. And we took it down. Now, I got in late. I got in at this front wall. Okay, but I have two trades that are active right now. One's on mine. One is from my son's account that I just was trying to build it back up for him for stuff like this. That's pretty obvious that I like a lot. I will jump in. His, I took the TP1. Mine, I have the TP2. I also have this support line right here, right above TP2. So I also am going to be watching what it does there. But what I did when I charted this is I made sure we had the supply zone, confirmed it's still good. Nothing has broke, so it's still standard. It's still a supply zone. It hasn't been flipped at all. Let me go down here. We have a base. So this is a support line. Okay, this was a resistance line, and it got flipped to a support line. So this has been flipped once right here. Okay, down here, again, we had a base that got flipped twice. Actually, you know what? Let me look at this right here. We had this flipped once, this candle flipped it twice, and then it flipped 3 times. So this is gone. Because this right here, obviously, this is over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that gap is a long red candle. So that broke structure. So that's something that you have to pay attention to, because technically I only saw 2 flips, but looking at it right here, it clearly was a 3rd flip. This base, I think, comes from either the daily or the 1 hour. Where does that come from? That's a 1 hour. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to keep this visibility on the 1. I'm going to get rid of it from the daily and the 4.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot more too now, just to clean up my screens.
Yep. And I know, like I said, like Johnny says that he likes to trade the 2 pairs. I mean, the 2 time frames. One of the things I started adding was adding back that second time frame.
Yeah.
So that I had just those 2, but rather than have it be across everything. And then if I want to add it in for a specific look, I can always go in and add it for that time frame. But so the default is not visible unless I want to make it visible, unless it's on those 2 time frames that we're trading. But bottom line here, to me, this is a pretty consistent. You have the resistance here at the back wall. You have the 66. It bounced off that. It's pushing down. And then we have TP1, which is pretty reasonable. And that's right about this base that we have right here from these 2. Yeah. And then we have TP2, which is, again, around another base that we have below here. And then below that, we have right above it, we have the 10 and we have the 20. One thing so, I mean, this is something that I jumped in and I'm actively involved in this, and I'm actually taking it down to here for one account, and then I'm going to likely take it down to here, but I'm going to watch what it does.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, what's up?
I'm sitting here on my GNT dashboard, and it looks so different. I just had to comment on this. It looks so different from what we're seeing on trading.
I'm going to pull up my GNT and my other computer. Give me a split second. My other monitor, not my other computer. That's a false statement.
I almost had to. I literally had to make sure, one, I was on the 4 hour because that's what I was looking at, and two, I was on the Euro USD because it just looks so different.
Yep. And good call, because I got to make sure that I'm on Euro USD on this, because I'm not. I was on gold right here. So Euro USD, it's delayed. Is it? Hold on one second. Which one of them is delayed?
Exactly.
Hold on. I'm on the wrong time. That was my daily.
Okay.
It's delayed a candle.
It's delayed a candle?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, you're right, but GNT looks like it's delayed a candle.
Correct.
That's wild.
So if I go to my 4:27, 12 a.m. There's nothing listed right now.
So can you go to Trading View and then go back to GNT and catch the delay and make money?
That'd be nice.
Nice thought, but
market don't care.
So on Trading View, where does it say it is right now?
It's right now at 17,406.
And
so the number's right.
Yeah, the number's right, because I'm at 1.17 or 17.405 right now, 404, 399.
Yeah, so it looks like it just didn't separate the 4 hour candle. So if I go over here,
wow, it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. But my question is this. All right, can I set the times? I don't know if this changed. I don't know why it would have. No, first of all, I had to reactivate one-click trading. All right. All right. So that's definitely here. I'm going to show my other screen here. Stop. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay.
I almost wish I waited to get back in. I waited to get in, but that's.
Yeah, the pullback.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You almost pull it back to the entry.
Yeah.
And it's almost a head and shoulders pattern. Not quite, but almost a head and shoulders pattern. Looking at it as you pull out a little bit. Yeah, so we have that single candle. Let me see if I go to the daily. Does it look similar? No. What about if I go to the daily over here? 1, 2 green. They have 3 green. Okay, there's something a little off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dig into that.
There's definitely something off. I don't know what's going on. But my chart looks like your chart on GNT, and my chart looks like your chart on Trading View. And I'm in this on real dollars.
Yeah.
But right now I'm down, but that's just because we had a retraction. But I'm going to do a paper trade as well. I want to do a larger trade.
I'm going to check it on Saxo and see if one's looking at Saxo.
Okay.
I'm just going to pull it up out of curiosity to see if that's more. Nope. Nope. Saxo looks just like, but we just had, well. Finds a bottle, drinks that drink, tries to laugh it off with his friends. This is live television. Try to play it off. Someone else's dream, drinks another person. Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on with GNT right now with regards to using that chart. I typically use Trading View as my deal maker anyway, and then I process the trade on GNT and then watch it over there.
Yep.
But I agree. There's something that looks off. What is this? Nope.
I just took a trade on paper. So I've already got the trade in GNT, the live trade. But I took one on paper too. I did a larger one because I'm limiting my size on GNT. But I took a larger one on paper, and what I did was I put where I think. I mean, it's well past my zone because that zone is held.
Yep.
So it's well past my zone for my stop loss. My take profit is actually on the just before the back wall on that zone down below.
Okay. Down here.
Hold on here. Yes.
Okay, that's a good one. Let's fib it.
Go for it.
So I also added a different template for fib. Okay, I added one additional one because it's just quicker. So if we do this, so we're going to do swing low to swing high, right? On this movement. So that would be right here. That's when the upward trend starts. Okay, so what I did for my templates is I have DP, but I also did DP reverse. So if I want to switch to zero in the one, but I don't want to go in and double click it, now I have a one-click way to do it.
You are brilliant. I got to say that. That's just like, I would never have thought it. That's awesome.
Well, I was frustrated this morning and I spent like a minute and a half doing it. And I said, why did I just spend a minute and a half for something that should have taken me 1 second? It's not a big deal now, but when you add it up over the year, it can get frustrating.
That's right.
Okay, so where is TP1 is just below the 382. And if I really zoom in on this, am I hitting those numbers? I am. That line's good. That line I'd like to actually touch so I can just confirm that I'm accurate there. And let's see. That's a little low now.
Yeah. That's the whole range, though. Look at that.
Yep. There we go. We're touching the top right there. All right. I just wanted to see how close it was to TP1. All right. So there we go. TP1's right here above 382, just before it. TP2 is just above the 50. And the 50 is an important line, like we've talked about in the fib. Anything that closes, if it doesn't close below it, that's an indication it's going to stay above it. If it closes below it, it's a strong indicator it's going to continue down. Yep. So the 50 is an important number there. Yeah, I'm good with the numbers right now. I'm just going to sit and let it do its thing.
Yeah, I went further because I didn't even think about. I wasn't looking at the 50 when I did the paper trade.
Yep.
I was looking at the 50 when I did my real cash trade.
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually a pretty good indicator. I mean, if it goes past the TP2, it's like, where's it going to close after the 50?
We get the 20 there.
Right. So you have the 20 as a line of resistance below, but besides that, we have this support line and base down here. But besides that, and that's coming from here, and that's been broken once, broken twice. So that's still holding. So I'm actually going to update that to support line flip 2. So I know to get rid of it. But yeah, so this one I'm just going to be kind of sitting and watching. But I did see something interesting today that we talked about on the call that I'd like to go to quick on gold.
Okay.
Because it has to do with something that we've talked about recently. So I'm going to go to the 1 hour for this. I actually want to get rid of my fib. We were looking at the fib here too. And the 667, I was waiting for it to bounce back to here. And while I jumped off, I missed it. So great. But I was waiting for it to hit this wall. I should have just set up a buy limit, but I didn't. So when you fib this top to bottom again, this is the reason why I created that reverse. But the 667 was a line that they were looking at where I kept on bouncing off it, especially here in this candle. It kept on going and bouncing off and then coming back. So I mean, it was decent money to be made there. I said personally, I was waiting for it to come down to here to the front wall, which is what I was waiting on. But which one you getting?
That is a gold buy on, let's see, on the 15.
Okay. I'll jump to that in a sec. Quick question. Here's what I showed him though. It's like, I'm like, Johnny, by the way, I'm like, I see this. I asked this question on the call. I see an E3 cross here right around 8:20 in the morning.
Mhm.
Okay. So that E3 cross is gonna indicate a strong sell, right? Because you have the 20 below the 66 and the 200s up here above the 66. Way up there. Okay. So that's a perfect E3 cross. It's on a time frame that I'm very comfortable with trusting the E3 cross on. So this would be a great point to take the sell right there. I said, now they were looking at the 67. I said, now based on our conversation before, we would typically wait for this to break the moving average on the 20. I said, by the way, I did look into this and I only touched this at a high level. And I was going to send to Donnie like the little bit though, like a one pager based on what we found. But I was going to say, the 10 on the gold is not something good to look for it to break because it's just too volatile. And the 20 would be the line that you're looking for it to break. He said, yes. I said, but is it an or, not an and? Not waiting for it to cross the 20 again, but if it also breaks structure, is that also an indication to flip it? Or is that a strong enough indicator to reverse the E3 cross? And he said, yes. He said, if we have a demand zone or supply zone set, if the E3 cross crosses into that demand zone or supply zone, that is just as strong of an indicator to look for a reversal pattern, a potential reversal pattern. Now, we didn't say that in that many words, but that was the question. And the answer was a confirmed yes. We're going to look for structure to indicate there could be a change in trend. That's something that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
I think it's just because we were being taken along step by step and it hadn't come up. But I happened to notice that we had the cross and we kept on talking about a buy. And in my mind, initially, it was like, why are we even talking? I know why we're talking about a buy, but based on what I know, based on my technicals, why would we be looking at a buy when the E3 cross is trending down and the RSI is trending down?
Right.
And actually, the RSI is below the 2-week low, but it's not above these 2 weeks, but it's above the last 2-week low.
Yep.
There's a low from this week. So, needless to say, and that was the answer. It was like, if we break structure right here, we have a demand zone. If it breaks structure, then that's a good indicator. And as you can see, it came down and pulled back up, and now it's on its way back down again. So, I mean, just going to observe it. He did say a couple of notes that I pulled from this morning with regards to gold, or gold. Oh, I said I was looking for a buy at 4684.698 to be my front wall, and my back wall was going to be 4680.425. And Donnie had said he was looking at anything at 4691 right around here before he was taking the buy. So right at the 667 was his mark that he was looking for. If you wanted to take a buy on that, he was comfortable with people making that decision.
Nice. Okay.
So that's just what we were touching there. He also mentioned that if you look at it, as you zoom out a little bit, gold is consolidating. And he said when that happens, he goes to the 4-hour.
Right.
And then it'll check the daily. He said, but what I do sometimes, once I get my daily information and I have my 4-hour information, he said, then I will go, if 1 hour is consolidating, he's like, I will go to the 2-hour. And I'm going to actually get rid of this because I got my info. So he's like, I will go to the 2-hour just to see if there's anything here that, and I mean, again, we kind of have, if I mark up a 2-hour, which I almost never do, but if I were to, I don't think I have a template for this. I don't. I'm just going to do that. And whatever. But that's my 2 hour. I guess I'll add a 2 hour template, but I didn't have one set up. But I mean, right here too, I mean, this is a long way down the road, but things that I start paying attention to, the 66 has crossed the 200. We have a downtrend. That makes sense. Is there a point where the 66 is going to cross the 20? Well, it's way down the road right now. It's not something that's imminent. So again, something I'm paying attention to, but not living on.
Yep.
I think today was really the first time he really spoke about looking at the 2 hour and why, and when he goes to it.
Yeah. And it was specifically in that scenario, like
Yeah.
when he has his daily and his 4 hour information already charted, already marked up, and then he sees the 1 hour is consolidating, then he'll check on the 2 hour. But again, he primarily trades 1 hour, 4 hour on that.
So since we're here and we are in a trade anyways, which definitely has retracted, which is would have been great. It's always great if you can know when that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You wait for it to hit, but either way, that doesn't always work that way. But what do we have for news right now? Anything else new?
Shooting suspect appeared to due in court. That's not big. China blocks Meta's acquisition of AI startup Manus.
Interesting.
So that's that's worthy of information. Wall Street indexes entering. That's nothing.
No.
What time was that? Where it turned around? Just out of curiosity. I know it's right now, but
Probably about 5-7 minutes ago.
All right, so 10:45. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Okay, yeah, probably will bounce back too. But let's see if we generate. No,
There
that's
wasn't
just
much news earlier, and it didn't seem to be a lot today. But Donnie was talking about, news that's coming up on Wednesday, and then news that was coming up on Thursday. I don't know if you caught any of that, Mike.
No, but what's this? I mean, that's at 9:20. Microsoft's slides after amending OpenAI partnership will no longer pay revenue share Microsoft and OpenAI. Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting. There's more movement in Euro USD now than I'm used to seeing.
Bring that back up. Yeah.
I'm on 0.02 on this live trade.
Yeah.
Or real cash trade. And so it's changed just in the past, 2 minutes, by 60 cents, 70 cents on that size trade.
Right.
So it's moving. now gratefully or thankfully it's moving in the right direction, but
right.
But I just thought that was interesting because usually it's much quieter than this.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty much moves 10 an hour.
Right.
On the 1 hour. So, I mean, what do we got? We got 22 an hour, 22 every 4 hours.
Yep.
And the 1 hour is probably still holding at 10. Yeah, it's 11. It's pretty standard though.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. And that's why I like to keep, like Donnie does this too, but I keep the ATR really low down the bottom. I know he keeps it in here too. It's right here.
Yeah.
But sometimes for me, that gets lost inside my zone or news. So that's why I like keeping the ATR down here at the bottom that I refer to with this red.
Yeah. You get a fair amount of zones. I mean, I see the fib there as well, but
yeah, let me get rid of the fib. So the main thing on this 4 hour, yeah, we have the supply zone right here, and that's from what, Friday, Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, click right there. There we go. There's my crosshairs. Wednesday at 1 a.m. And then my demand zone is from 9 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, technically.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say technically this is I think this is a supply zone as well. Let's fib it. because what is this, right? This goes to here. Template, we're going to do fib 50. Nope, that's not. That doesn't qualify. This would have had to have been down to here to qualify. So that's a base, but that's not a. So I'll just add that as a Alt J. That was a resistance line and base that got flipped to a support line. Flip one. And yeah, that's it on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
But now it's coming back down. Okay, I just want to get at least hit this, and then we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's moved now almost $2.
Wow.
In
Yeah, that is a lot for Euro USD.
Yeah, on that size, on that lot size.
Well, let me see. Is there any other market news that's just Market Pulse stocks ETF?
Yeah, that's why I was curious, because that was a significant move. Although it was moving up pretty fast in the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really seeing anything.
Yeah.
Yet.
I don't see anything on this list that's earth-shattering.
No.
I mean, we know also, but this is true. We know we do have a very busy week, like right here.
Yes.
I mean, so leaked information wouldn't surprise me. It's not out yet, but if some of that information was to come out or some of it was to leak, I mean, that could have a potential fundamental impact.
Yep. Yeah, no, it definitely could, and that stuff does leak, and unless you're paying for that, we're not going to catch that. We're going to see afterwards. But if we're on the right side of the trend, that's not a bad thing.
But that's all the more reason Donnie is paying for it. So jump on the calls, and that information will be shared.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I can't justify paying for that yet.
No.
I financially could justify for it if this was my primary business, or if this was something where I was pulling in 6 figures plus already, then I could justify it.
Well, it's continuing to move. I'm in profit. I don't know about you. I'm going to guess you are. Depends on where you get in.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't get stomped out. Let me double check it. No, I'm alive.
I'm alive. I love it.
I'm up 40 cents on this one, and on the other one.
Yeah, I'm up. I was just up over 50 cents, and then
the other one's out
over $3.
Yeah, the other one's out, but this one's in.
Well, I'm going to take it down a bit more. And
yeah, and that is, like I mentioned this before, but that is something I have been doing a little bit more of, is when I jump into something where I know it is decently volatile, I will set a lower stop loss than I normally would. And if I get stomped out because it hits the stop loss, oh well. I'd rather go for a big win and take a small loss than do nothing. Now, with that being said, if that was like a strategic longer trend trade, now it started to spike down.
Yeah.
If that was a strategic longer trend, then I would definitely move my stop loss to the appropriate location, because I'd be wanting just letting it sit and allow for that fluctuation. But on ones where I'm looking to, let's say, capture something that I see happening, but I understand there is a risk of it doing a 180, especially in today's times with certain news conferences and tweets that change things in a millisecond. Actually, it's less tweets. It's more Truth Social posts. But bottom line is that can literally change everything so quick. I'd rather take that quick loss.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and even if it's on Truth Social, it's immediately posted on
X, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it goes right to X.
Yeah.
those are the two places you want to be. You'll get it first on Truth Social, and then
Yep.
very quickly after you'll get it on X. So, and then a couple days later you'll get it on Facebook or something. And
Yeah. And I will say this too, like 90% of the time, because it's not my primary business, it's something that I'm learning and doing in a not secondary nature, but it's something that I have up and I'm monitoring, but I'm not actively doing 24/7. Because of that, I do rely on FinViz a lot for the news. If I hear something too, I don't have a TV on when I'm running while I'm during the day because that's distracting to me.
yeah,
I need to focus on all the other things I need to focus on. But I rely heavily on FinViz, and if something pops up there, I hear about it, or I don't know. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, I occasionally will see something come through, but it's typically FinViz that I rely on for my up-to-date news.
well, I like it too because it's FinViz is not really distracting because you can take a look at it. Unlike going to social media where you get 100 different things thrown at you at once, you know, and you're like, oh wait, I was curious about that or whatever it is, and you can get trapped. So FinViz is just, it gives you, and all you got to do is look at the top sections, what just happened,
Right.
or what, you know, what's coming out, and so it's quick. You look at the headlines, you know if it's something worth digging into or not.
Yep. And I like the fact that we have news and we have blogs,
Yes.
because the blogs is often going to be someone's out there trying to get information out immediately and be first to get that information out and tell that story. So that stuff can pop up on the blogs, and it also sometimes has an interesting take because it kind of shows you the source here too of it. So you can also just know your sources a little bit and go to them.
What just happened? I'm
What
on GNT. By the way, I've got to go to another meeting, so I'm
Yep.
going to finish this up here. But I'm on GNT. We're in a 4-hour trade or 4-hour time zone, and
Yep.
I just opened up a new candle just now.
Yeah, that's what I thought was wrong, and that is what's wrong. I don't know if we can set the time,
It's
but that's what's wrong. So it might not be on UTC -4 like time zone is, like the other one is. I wonder if we can change that.
okay. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I'll have to take a look at that later on too. So, but with that, hey folks, you know, you're literally, we said we're documenting our journey. This is what we're doing. We're learning, we're talking through things, we're sharing the stuff. We are not making recommendations or giving you any financial advice, but hopefully you do pick up some different things and you learn some of the stuff that we're learning, and you learn from our mistakes too, because we make them and we're sharing them. It's pretty raw. So thanks for being here, and we'll be back on Wednesday, roughly 10:15 a.m. or so. Any closing words, guys?
I can go real quick, okay? With regards to what you just said, even if I have a 17-year-old who is a phenomenal driver, I'm not having her write a book on how to drive. She's only been driving for 6 months. That's what we basically are.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh man, I've wanted to be 17 again for a while. That's awesome.
I would take it. Mentally, I am at times. Physically, hell no. But mentally, yeah.
Oh, that is awesome, Stephen.
Steven's using the Force right now with May 4th coming up.
Little
stuff. So, all right.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all soon. Have a phenomenal and profitable day, and we are in profit. So
Yes, sir.
cheers, all. Take care.
Thanks, guys.